Good morning. Welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. A joy, as always, to be here with you on Friday mornings with my little half-hour chat and discussion, inviting you all to be the presence of light that each of you are. And just a weekly reminder that we're all in this together, and we're really experiencing more and more of the truth of no separation. So I'm hoping that people are receiving the signal and tuning in. And please just relax and know that this morning's talk really was one that came about with me. And two words, trust and love. And I wasn't so sure I wanted to do a talk on trust and love in the midst of all of what we're going through. And yet, the word unity came in as well. And it's always means something to me when it sort of coagulates and processes in my mind that this is what you're here to do, Charlie. And I believe in the side comments there of the heading of this, I wrote, "Love is why I'm here, and trust is what keeps me here." So I'm not seeing anyone arriving, but that's okay. I'm going to continue. And hopefully it is being broadcast. So this morning's words really came from, there's Joan Marie, bless you, dear heart, for saying good morning and relieving my silly human questioning of computer reality. So this week is Unity Week, and many people are having events around the world live on Facebook and other media. And the reflection is really about unity. And so this is where the word unity comes from. And I've been on several things live, not as a host, but as a participant, and enjoying the real sense of love and trust that the people are showing up with. And so even though I hesitated this morning to do this talk on that subject, I was reminded that, this is really what I'm here to do, and to encourage everyone else to tap into that frequency of themselves and learn how to trust the expression of it. And I say that because most of us have had lives where at some point in our life we've had some damage, we've taken some hits, our heart has taken some hits, and it doesn't matter where those traumas came from or who or what created them. The issue is that they still remain. And it's time now for all of us to really face those as they come up and realize that they can't really have any power over us unless we allow them to. So it doesn't matter who has hurt your heart, who has made you feel small or insignificant, or who has taken your love and your trust and used it and abused it and left you feeling empty. Right now, we're being the gift of unifying ourselves, and not just unifying ourselves as humans around the world, but unifying ourselves within us. This singularity right here, this physical body, needs to be unified as well. This is a process that is not easy, and yet it's perfect. And as I read down my show notes today, we'll begin to understand why on many levels. So the two cards that I pulled this morning, the first one was trust. This one here is trust. And the other one is love. And I pulled two because I didn't like the first one. And the first one was trust. And the second one was love. So you see, I can't get out of this. My guides and teachers just amaze me with when I try to back out of what I'm here to do. And we have this sort of standing joke that if I don't listen, they'll make me listen. So I hope your guides are gentle with you and play with you as mine do. And I ask you to trust them even deeper, because the frequencies of energy are carrying their voices and their messages much more powerfully than they ever have. In spite of the fear and the control that's running rampant in the world today, our spirit guides and teachers are really very, very close. Very, very close. They're walking really beside us, behind us, and in front of us at all times. And I ask you to deepen your relationship with them as we move forward through this process of evolving. So the cyber celebration of humans from around the world celebrating, a unified collective whole is really a part of our evolution. And how do we begin to embrace that in this world of chaos and fear and lack of strong human images that are, in power, saying, no, this is not love, this is not humanity at its finest, this is not acceptable. Instead, they do whatever they do, and I can't justify or, condemn them for what they're doing. It's who they are. It's where they are in their lives. And in the meantime, it leaves us to sort of fend for ourselves, which in one way is a blessing, because we have to rely on that inner knowing, that inner connection more deeply in order to make rational human decisions as to what we do with our daily life. This is an important process because we've been trained to listen to others and not trust our hearts. So it's all about love and respect is really what it's all about. And in order to have love and respect, you have to trust. You have to come into a place of yourself where you begin to trust yourself to make the changes that are desperately needed. And they begin with simple changes within our own way of looking at our immediate friends and relatives and taking another deeper look at them and look at ourselves and that relationship that we're having with them. I'm beginning to look for the positive things in that relationship rather than the desperate and not comfortable parts, which show up really clean and clear. And so we need to retrain our minds to accept those as what's going on. That's the energy field. But how are we contributing to that energy field? What is in it? What is in within us that is not trusting something? What is within us that is not loving something? And know that when we have these issues with other people, they are really reflecting the energy back at us that we already have. And if we can learn to overcome that within ourselves, when that happens, we will no longer be triggered as negatively by their actions or their words or the lack of those. This is what I'm experiencing in my own journey, and I know that each of you are doing it as well in your journey, because we're all humans, we're all on planet Earth, and we're all together. This is where our unity needs to strengthen, and realizing that I'm not really much different than you. The only differences are just my personal differences. So I may be a different size, a shape, a color. I may have different backgrounds historically, but we're all here as human beings. And we all came here from a source that has been described for thousands of years. And nobody still knows what it really looks like or what it really can truly encompass, because our human minds can't grasp that larger picture. We have to step out of that calculation and that who, what, when, where, why, and how in order to achieve that. This is what our guides, that we call our spiritual guides and teachers, assist us in, because they can take any form, shape, or manner we want to imagine about them. And for them, it just they have no concern of that. What their interest is for us to come back online and make that connection and live from our hearts and trust that that is the truth and not all of this fantasy story that we've created. So when I look around the world, as we all do, we see the destruction and the falsity. And we see the stories that have blown into front page news. And we look at them and we get energetically charged by them. And right now the charge is highly negative. When humanity comes into a highly negative state, chaos which is a form of creation, will create. And it doesn't have any, doesn't choose over, oh, well, I'm going to side on this side or that side. It's the energy of creation. But if we are in a state of negative, we will then express ourselves more negatively. So it's up to us, when the world around us is appearing to fall apart and destroy, all our ideals, all our principles seem to collapse. It puts the onus on us to rise up in love and trust, because we're not going to find it out there. We have to come back in to who we are in truth and find it there. So I encourage you all to take this journey within you right now. This is a great opportunity to find those weaknesses and weak spots in ourselves that say, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't know. The ones where we're finding resistance. And what we'll find really is that our resistance really is the resistance to the truth of what is really going on. So the cards I pulled, trust and love, trust being the first one, it says, I know the love of God supplies me with faith and trust in my life's processes. So I know many of us have a different opinion of that word God. But when we look at it as the word creator or creatrix, it doesn't matter. Somehow we are part of a greater creation. And that greater creation is what we need to trust in. That we're not just droplets of dirt that fell out of the sky and nobody cares about. That we are part of a greater whole that is very concerned right now about us perhaps becoming dirt or dust in the wind, as the old song used to say. The second card, love is the life current that flows through the universe. This current fills my heart as I surrender my will to God's will. Again, these cards are circled around God and the universe, both the same. Just one takes on sort of a personal image, and one is a vastness of that we can't wrap our minds around, that we sit in awe of. Yet both are to be respected as that, with that reverence of awe. So when we love and trust, what we do is come back into a resonance of our true creation, that all of creation actually unfolds, morphs, however you want to look at it, changes through these patterns of darkness and light. And that's its principal makeup. That's how it unfolds and refolds and brings about change. Whether we like it, whether we don't like it, whether it affects us positively or whether it affects us negatively, what we have to remember is that we, all of us together, are a collective called humanity. And we need to come back into that solidarity. And the only way I see that we can do this is about to change our feelings around the words trust and love, and begin to become more trusting and more loving during this process of our evolution. So here we are. Who's talking in the sideline here? Appreciate your broadcast, a bit delayed. Okay, well, you're getting it. I'm getting it. We're here together. Time is that grand illusion that keeps us wondering where we are and what we have to do. And in truth, we are here. We are now communicating, which is the greatest gift that we have. Leslie says, this is very true for me, especially in a recent experience. Someone I was growing very close to suddenly stopped communication. No real reason given except for telling me he was sorry, got ahead of himself, whatever that means. It's sad, isn't it, when we put our trust and love out there and we then have experiences like Leslie. You're not alone, Leslie. We are all experiencing this now. And many people are stepping out into this field of love and trust. And then they get the word stage fright is coming through. It's sort of like, stage fright. The first time I was ever told to recite a poem live, I freaked out. I still freak out talking live. Not here per se, but in many talks and groups. But then we have to remember that I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing anything to be fearful of. I'm here expressing what I'm expressing, my love, my trust, my desire to be with someone else or to share my story with someone else, and not worry about whether it's too much for them to handle or I'm too much. Just be who we are. Trust and know that each one of us are these beautiful souls. And so it doesn't matter what people can handle or not handle. Don't allow that to turn you back away from shining your light, shining your love, and trusting the value of everything you have to bring to the world. So the next part of my morning as I wrote this was a memory of a song, The Eve of Destruction from 1964. Barry something, I can't remember his name right now, sang it. And it was when I was young teenager. And the focus then was all my friends were getting drafted and going to war. Some of them died and some of them didn't make it through boot camp and all of this. The world felt like it was going to end. And I was brought to think about that same feeling now, that the world is coming to some crazy ending. Although we don't necessarily have the bombs, we have this virus that's just as deadly on many levels as a war is. And I have trucks going by, so I'm going to shut the window. Anyway, so that's a little quieter. We don't need that noise. But again, this frequency of violence that's happening in our world now is very similar. And how do I stand in love and trust in that? How do we stand in love and trust in that? The reality is we may not have a reason. We may not be able to justify why we need to do that. But the key to moving through this and uniting the world again into a collective humanity that will focus and create more deeply in love and trust, which benefits all of us. We just have to find some affirmations within ourselves. So I can give you affirmations, and I will. I'll take you through a little journey in a few minutes. And the key is that we need to set these affirmations up for ourselves. We need to set up these visions of our powerfulness, these visions of our kindness, these visions of our loving presence within ourselves, and own them as we truly are. Because they're not something outside of us that we're trying to imagine. That's what the world has taught us. That what we want is outside of us. And that's not the perfect truth. The perfect truth is we have everything we need within us to embrace what's outside of us and bring it into us so that we can co-create from within and without, and have even a better, more positive, more cohesive, unified field of energy in which to not just survive, but to live as the beautiful beings of light and love that we are. So when we look at the children in the world right now, they're going through what I as a child went through looking at the wars. And our ancestors looked at going through their wars and going through their famines and going through their viruses. And you see the pattern just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating until one day a group of us start to begin to realize that the more we feed that, the more it recreates itself. And the way out is love and trust. And who are we to love and trust? Right here. And we do that by looking into our guilt, looking into our pain, and saying, no more. No more. I'm not going to buy this story anymore. I'm not going to keep recreating this paragraph of life over and over and over and over. That chapter is closed. That book is on the shelf. New page, new story, new paragraph. And that new paragraph is going to come from my heart. It's going to come from the part of me that said, I am worthy. Somehow, I'm not what everybody says about me. Somehow, I'm worthy of being loved. I'm worthy of loving. I am worthy. And not only am I worthy, but I'm a co-creator. Here we are. And what I want you to do right now, I want you to go on this little journey with me and your breath. I want you to take a deep breath, slowly, relaxingly, just inhale, fill your upper chest, fill your abdomen. There's no right or wrong, just an in-breath. And exhale gently, slowly, knowing that when we stop that, we're no longer here. And all of what I'm saying is going to be totally irrelevant at that point. But our breathing keeps us relevant to the present moment. And when everything goes haywire, keep breathing. Keep knowing you're breathing. Keep feeling the water on your tongue, knowing that this physical body is still existing, no matter what pain and suffering is coming at you. You are alive. And in that presence of aliveness, we are to trust and love. So allow that to settle in your breath. And just take a look at perhaps the children in your own families, whether you have children or whether you have you had siblings. If you don't have children, that's perfectly fine. But there's children in your families. And I want you to think about them. I want you to bring them into your mind, those children. And some of them may be irrational and a nuisance. And it doesn't matter what age or what, whether they're male or female that are coming to your mind. But these are the children. And I want you to remember that you were those children. That each one of us were those children to other people like us. And this repetition of the nature of humanity, every generation has had their children, and every generation has grown into adulthood, and every generation has somehow repeated over and over again these old patterns and didn't change them. They just rearranged them so somebody benefited that or somebody lost. That over and over we have created a pattern of separation where the children actually separate from their families. In my own personal case, I have no connection to my children. And as much love as I send, their wall is greater for them than my power of sending it. But it doesn't stop from sending the love. And this is what I want us to do in this moment of breathing, is to gather the love, to gather the trust in us and send it to the children, even the ones in our families that don't have anything to do with us. And we offer it because it's preciousness. It's our gift. It's our gift to the future. Feel the unity rising within you as you send love and trust to the children of the world, so that they're not experiencing this, as I said earlier, destruction, this eve of destruction, this feeling that everything in their lives, they're not in school, they can't play with their friends, they don't understand like you and I do. And then they listen to their parents and families who are bickering and arguing about who's right and who's wrong, and is this fake, is this real? What are we doing but creating even greater separation? So in this week of unity, this is what's coming through me. And I urge you to keep breathing gently as I say this. I want you to feel the love and the trust returning into your heartbeat, into your arteries, into your veins. And I want you to feel that power that you have in that energy of love and trust. And how you can offer that to guide the children through this, because they don't have the learning yet to understand, to comprehend, to analyze, to focus. And it's up to us now to do that for them. As we think of that, I want you to ground, feel yourself grounding to Mother Earth. Put your feet on the ground if you can. Whether you have shoes on or not is irrelevant. Just consciously know that you're connecting to Mother Earth And I want you to start receiving her grace. Know that there's an energy from Mother Earth that's rising to meet you as you seek to connect to her. Listen. Listen not just to me, but listen to the energy that you might be feeling. Perhaps she is whispering to you as we speak. And I imagine her whispering to you, welcome home. Feel that. Feel that transmission of Mother Earth saying to you, welcome home. Welcome back to our one heart, which never stops beating. One heart, the human heart, and the heart of Mother Earth. Together again, united, beating together. I want you to think of the power of that. I want you to think that if we can access that power and bring it through and offer it to the children, what would that look like? If the children could open their hearts, then at their age now, they've already shut part of it down. But what if our offering our love and teaching them of the love of Mother Earth for all of us? And what if we planted that seed in their hearts? What would that look like? Here, the heart of Mother Earth, from which the evolution of all life is given birth. Our mother gently whispers, listen for my heartbeat, for it is your heartbeat as well. Seek my waters, for they are both the lifeblood and the tears of human existence. You are my children. You are always my children. Be you old or young. Your true nature is divine. And life is a gift you chose. It is not supposed to be a punishment. Your suffering is unnecessary. Our separation is no longer sustainable in any form. For you are always my children. Be you old or be you young. Share this message with your children, with your neighbor's children, with your distant relationships' children. Welcome them home and trust love. Because trusting love is the key to wholeness and peace. I want to thank you all for being here with me this morning, for listening to the words of Mother Earth that came through me much earlier this morning, or came to me. I'm just a messenger. That is part of my trusting and loving, is that what I'm gifted and told and shared with to speak to you makes a difference. And if it only makes a difference in one person's life, then it's one more awakened soul who belongs in the heart of our divine Mother Earth. Carry those thoughts with you this week about trust and love. Know that everything we do for the future and heading into the future needs to come from those two challenging words: trust and love. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning. I know I went over time, but as I say, there is no time. The only time we have right now is the time we spend together, trusting and loving, and eventually knowing without any doubt the power and the beauty of who we truly are. I'm complete. I'm whole. I'm in love. And I trust each one of you will take this morning's words, this morning's message, this morning's energy, and do something wonderful with it. I love you. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. And we are unity. And we have always been all of that. Once we let go of the illusions that we have created lifetime after lifetime. Oh my goodness, Teresa, Grace, Teresa, Terry, I love you, dear, my beautiful Global Heart Team mentor. Anita, my blessed sister. Margaret, another blessed sister. Carrie, all of you who have showed up today and blessed my presence with your presence. Thank you. Keep going. Peace be with you. As I'm trying to think, he's got a new way of saying this. It's peace comes to your heart and back out. I can't remember it, but that's a peace. My heart to your heart. Love you all. Thank you. And share your wisdom and your strength and your beauty with all you encounter. You don't have to remember my words. Just be who you are and let the trust and love flow. I'm complete, I'm whole, and I am going to say, have a great day. See you next week. Love you all. Bye-bye.